What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with another brand new review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode number 4. This episode was titled The Vault, you guys. Now, before I get into it, y'all give me just a hot second so I can go get my charger before my laptop dies. All right, you guys. So if you guys are watching the video or any other on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us discuss this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, shall we? All right, you guys. So tell me what you guys thought about this week's episode of Atlanta. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are your thoughts and opinions? Now, I know I didn't do the pre-recorded video because I didn't watch the episode last night live, so that's why that didn't happen. So, after I watched the clips, I was like, you know what? It might be a good idea just to go live and actually discuss this to get people's opinions about what they thought about the episode and go from there. Because I have some questions when it comes to the episode. Like, actually, I just want to know. Honestly, you guys, I just want to know what you guys think about the episode. Because it was interesting it was interesting finally kind of seeing the stuff with Britt and Kenya. But yeah, you guys, I want y'all to tell me what you guys think about that. Do you guys think Kenya was vindicated, which is what we'll definitely discuss as we get into the live for sure? But that's gonna be later on down into the live. That's gonna be later on down into it, you guys. But yeah, definitely tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Also, you guys, if it seems like I'm a little distracted, that's because I am. Because number one, you guys know I'm at work. Our system is going slow as hell at work. Then I just got a phone call from a woman talking about, I'm just returning your phone call. Girl, I did not call you. I sent you a damn email. You did not read the email and you just decided, you know what? Moving on. Moving on. Let's get into the episode, you guys. Let's get into the episode. Hey, Southern Belle 16, how are you doing today? I hope everybody's having a great Monday. For me, my Monday is good. My Monday is definitely going good. And I'm ready to get off of work. Once I log off at 4:30, my Monday's gonna be even better than it started. But this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I don't necessarily know where I want to start up at, but like I said, nonetheless, we're gonna definitely get into it. Let's start. Actually, let's start up with the person that I don't care about the most right about now, and that's gonna be Britt. Because honestly, when it comes to Britt, her storyline and connecting for me, it's like there are so many loose ends when it comes to Britt's storyline, and I just don't know what's the truth when it comes to Britt. So in this episode, we see Britt. So Britt is meeting up with her sister Cher. So I'm assuming Britt is the youngest of her siblings, right? And if I'm wrong, y'all can correct that if I'm wrong. But so Britt is meeting up with her sister Cher, right? And they're talking about their relationship and whatnot. And they have issues with each other right now. They both sound petty, to be quite honest with you. It's not like Britt can't have a conversation with her sister without her husband being there. Then with the sister, because Britt asked her, "You talking to mom? Have you talked to mom?" She said, "I talked to her, but I think she might be blocked." And I'm like, "So you blocking your mom on?" Like, that's so weird. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I have the best relationship with my biological mother because I don't. But see, me personally, when it comes to that whole blocking stuff, I'm not one of those people that'll block people. I really don't care. If I don't want to see you on my timeline, I can mute you, do a lot of things, but blocking people, I don't subscribe to that. That ain't something that I do. If y'all do it, then it is what it is. But no, but nothing right there, right? But like I said, with Britt and her sister, I just don't. It seems like there's more to Britt than it. I don't know. It's just something not connecting with Britt. On top of the fact that her voice is annoying as fuck to me. I think that's another thing that's a problem for me is that Britt's voice irritates me and annoys me so badly that I'd be like, I want to like this. I don't dislike Britt, but her voice is grating. It's like nails on a chalkboard, right? So her sister share basically lets her know, like, hey, when it comes to your husband, I would prefer to just have a conversation like what we're having right now. And Britt is talking about how here's another thing with Britt. Britt is talking about how she, doesn't have, many girlfriends. Britt, I can honestly see why. You don't give that you know how to be a friend. Like it doesn't give that you know how to be a friend to anybody, right? Because you came into the season with Kelly as your friend. But I know going out of this season, you and Kelly are not cool because Kelly has been did some interviews with Shamia, and she ain't saying it for you. So, Britt, I think you might be part of the problem as well, beloved. But that's neither here nor there. You guys will definitely tell me your thoughts, your opinions on Britt, good, bad, or indifferent, and we can move on to the next person, right? Let's go ahead and talk about Drew real quick. Again, y'all know when it comes to Drew, I don't hate Drew. Only thing about Drew that I hate is the fact that she lies so damn much, right? But Drew, we see Egghead Ralph. I was like, oh fuck, not Ralph on my television screen. I wasn't ready to see Ralph. I didn't need to see Ralph. I'm good on seeing Ralph, right? But Drew is talking about how she and Ralph are better as co-parents than they were in a relationship. I was like, okay, Drew. Again, I like you, but I don't honestly care about this. But okay, give it to us nonetheless, right? Then I want to ask the question of what producer thought it was a good idea to give Ralph an interview. I just want to know what producer thought that was a good idea. And then he's in his interview with no shirt on. Okay, Ralph. Hi and goodbye. Ralph got an interview, but Kenya don't. Then they're talking about the kids, and so Ralph lets Drew know that I guess one of the kids came to him with an article about he and Drew getting a divorce, and it had everything in it. And like I've said about who did I say? Dorit on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Instead of trying to shield your kids, which I know that some of their kids are younger, like their daughter. I know she's very young, but your sons, I think your sons are old enough to probably understand what a divorce is. And y'all might should have sat down with them and told them, hey, mommy and daddy are splitting up, even though y'all still live in the same house together. And even I also want to ask the producers who thought it was a funny idea to do a MTV Crib style with Ralph down there in that damn basement. I didn't want to see it. I would prefer to never see it again, but that's that, right? So then later in the episode, we see Drew. Drew's at the studio with Dennis, Coach Dennis, that is, right? And they're listening to one of her songs. I still have not gotten over to listen to Drew's album. I know everybody's saying Drew's album is really good. I definitely intend to check out Drew's album. But if you guys have listened to it, definitely tell me like what you guys think about it. Like, do you guys like Drew's album? But again, like I said, I definitely will get over there and get a good listen to Drew's album. Maybe before next week's review, I'll have listened to Drew's album and I can give you guys a my thoughts and my opinions on Drew's album. Maybe. Don't hold me to it. I'm just saying maybe I can do that. But moving on. So Drew is talking to Dennis, and they are talking about, things with her and Portia and all this kind of stuff. I honestly, like I've said plenty of times before, I really feel like this is. I think that they all got together and concocted this storyline. I don't know that I 100% believe this Drew working with. She worked with Dennis, but I don't believe 100% everything that I'm seeing when it comes to this whole layout of this storyline. And then for Dennis to say he for Dennis to sit there and say he didn't know anything about what Drew was talking about, but they flash back to 2 weeks prior, when him and Portia sat down and talked, when him and Portia was in that car, it's like, Dennis, you're lying. What are we talking again? What are we fucking talking about here? Like, I was irritated, 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 irritated. But moving on from Drew. My God. But moving on from Drew, you guys. So who do we want to go to next? So we move on from Drew and we will move over to Portia. So it ain't really much with Portia in this episode. We see Portia pulling up to some office. So she's talking to her people about her business. You guys know she got Go Naked hair. She got pampered by Portia. I'm shocked that she still got that shit because I mean, y'all remember when she got with Simon, she quit every job that she had, which still is dumb as hell to me, but she did it, right? The question that I do have, that guy that was in that meeting, that room with them, he looks very familiar. And I can't remember. I feel like I saw him on an Atlanta show before, but I can't quite put my finger on where I saw him at before. If you guys remember, definitely drop down in the comment section and let me know. Also, we saw Portia's cousin Londi. Now, I do remember seeing Londi, even though I didn't watch Portia's Family Matters. I remember seeing Londi because I remember there was a big issue with Portia and Londi after that show. Don't remember what it was, but I also do remember that. I also do know that Londi passed away. So definitely rest in peace. Definitely rest in peace to Londi. And so Portia is talking about how she wants to push her brands, right? After trying to live the soft life. Girl, you were not trying to live the soft life. You were trying to live the kept life. Be real about it, Portia. You wanted to be a kept woman. Now let me say this: ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be a kept woman, because hell, I would love to be a kept man. Just keeping it real with you guys. If I didn't have to work another day in my life and be kept, I would. I would. Hey Shayna, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. But yeah, I mean, I don't have again, like I said, I ain't got no problem. If Portia wanted to be a kept woman, that's her prerogative. But girl, to quit all your jobs like that, and you didn't really know that man like that, it's your life. You live it how you want to live it. That's all I gotta say. That is all I gotta say. So then, whoever this man is, which again, like I said, I feel like I've saw this man before, but whoever this guy is that's in this meeting with Portia, he's talking about the fact that Drew had reached out to him and wanting to set up a meeting with him, her, and Dennis. Again, this is why I say I feel like these three are playing in our faces. I feel like Portia, Dennis, Drew are playing in my face. That's my opinion. You guys will definitely tell me what you think and what you feel, but I feel like somebody's playing in our face. I really, truly, honestly do. But moving on to the next person, you guys, let's talk about Shamia. Y'all know I like Shamia, and I'm here for Shamia, getting her shine and getting her glow up, right? The question I'm gonna ask is, Shamia, are we gonna hear about your singing all season? Are we gonna hear it all season? Because it's giving Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. Because y'all know Candace at a drop of a dime, that girl would be singing, and it's like, God damn, girl, shut up. Not taking anything away from Shamia's talent, not taking anything away from Shamia, taking nothing away from Candace or any of the girls who can sing, right? But it'd be like, okay, can we just have a little bit of can we have one episode where you not just singing? But I get it with Shamia. She's promoting her single that she did with RL. I haven't listened to Shamia's song either. Sometime this week, I'm gonna get around to listening to Drew's album and Shamia's single. I definitely do want to do that to support the girls. But if you guys have listened to if you have listened to Shamia's single, Drew's album, let me know. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys like it? Like, let me know. So Shamia is talking to her sister, right? And she's telling her sister that she wants to, play the song for the ladies. when they all get together, because they're going to be getting together for an event that Angela is having, right? I'm going to talk about Angela in just a minute because it's something that I had said in episode 2 review, and I knew that I felt like I was on the money about something. But Shamia is surprised that Angela sent her the invite, especially after the way they had their blow up at Kelly's event in last week's episode, where she called her Latoya Jackson and talked about her nose. Because if it was her, she probably wouldn't have invited Angela to her event. But she is, she's surprised and she's going to go to Angela's event. And that was really, truly all that we got with Shamia. Now, am I missing anybody before I get to where I want to get to? So we talked about Britt. We talked about Drew, Portia, Shamia. All right, you guys. So we got one more person before we get to the creme de la creme of the episode. Let's get into Miss Kelly. So, Kelly, like I've said plenty of times before with Kelly, I do like Kelly. I think Kelly is a good girl. I think she's a cool girl. Nigga, please. My bad, y'all. You got life fucked up and you got me fucked up with Chuck. What am I talking about? Kelly. So we see Kelly. So Kelly went down to Kenya's hair spa. Hair salon. Is it a salon or is it a spa? One of the two. So Kenya asked Kelly about the bodyguard that she had. And so Kelly let her know like she needs him for her protection because of the things that have happened with her ex-husband. Because Kelly says, you have a mark, I have a mark, right? And so Kenya asked her, like, was there ever anything physical with you guys? And she said, oh, absolutely. She said, and Kenya asked her, like, did you have any proof of it? She said, yeah, because he threatened me right in front of the court. He threatened me in the court. So they granted her the restraining order and they put him in contempt of court. And so that's why he can't see the girls, right? So Kenya asked Kelly, like, when you guys were together, with your business, was this before or after? She said, well, her business is 8 years old and they were married for 11 years. So that answered the question that I had previously asked. Because you guys remember in a previous episode, she said that he shut down one of her restaurants. So that's why he was able to shut down the restaurant, is because this is a business that was created during the marriage. But she says she was the one that did everything in the restaurant. But I mean, if he put up some capital, then girl, this divorce gonna be messy. And I'm pretty sure this divorce is probably messy because of that, just that finances and potential, even custody of your kids. Kelly, I wish you nothing but the best when it comes to your divorce with your ex-husband. I wish you nothing but the best and peace coming out of it, right? So then Kenya talked about her hair spa and how she's just nervous because she's put $400,000 into this, which is coming out of Brooklyn's college fund. And I agree with Kelly that I think Kenya's going to be successful. Now I did go to look at Kenya's hair spa to see if it was open currently. I think it is currently open, but it's closed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's open like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hey, is it Savon? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Hope you're having a great one. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go ahead and get into it, but I'm gonna briefly touch on it. When it comes to Kenya, there are so many things that I want to say, and like I said, I'll get to them once we get to that part of the episode. Okay, thank you. I'm so happy I said it correctly because I don't like mispronouncing anybody's name. But I'm like I said, you guys, I'm gonna talk about Kenya because I was really happy to see Kenya's hair spa this season until what happened at her hair spa. And like I said, I'll talk about that more next week because next week is her hair spa. But I do have some opinions about what happened at the end of this episode, and we're about to go ahead and get into it because bravo, 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 bravo. Y'all are wrong for a multitude of reasons, and we'll get into it as we get into it. Now, the episode opened up with Angela. So Angela was meeting up with Britt. They were quote unquote working out, right? But they were also catching up. So we found out that Angela has issues in her family because somebody's walking in the hallway and talking loud as fuck. So her family is having issues. So her mama and Charles, they got some issues going on with each other at this current moment. They don't see eye to eye. Her and her sister not seeing eye to eye. Her mama and Charles got into it about cleaning. Some things were said. She said that she takes care of her. I don't know if she's talking about her mama, but she takes care of somebody financially, right? And that's causing issues, I guess, right? So then Britt is telling us about her sister and how, when she needs help, she reaches out, Britt gets Mike involved. But then when the sister gets mad, she says he's trying to be her daddy. And I'm like, huh, none of this shit makes sense. Like nothing with Britt really makes sense to me. Hey, Kiwan, how are you doing today? Like, I kid you guys not, nothing with Britt makes logical sense to me, but y'all can tell me what y'all think. So we find out this is the point where we found out that Angela was throwing an event and she's getting all the girls together. She's also wanting to get on a better footing with Shamia. So then Britt decides to talk about Kenya. And it's like, Britt, here's the thing, Britt. Yes, Kenya made a comment about your ring, but even I had the same question about your ring because you have on your engagement ring. Your husband upgraded the engagement ring, but you don't have a wedding band on. So it does look like you are just engaged. So I had the same question that Kenya had. I think a lot of people probably had the same questions that Kenya has. So I don't know what the disconnect. I really don't get what the disconnect is coming with when it comes to Kenya and Britt. And I think it's really mostly Britt. Kiwan says Brit is shallow and superficial. Okay, you good. Okay. Yeah, Brit is it's something off with Brit. I don't dislike Brit, but it's definitely something off with Brit. So Angela had this event in Bankhead and it's at a place called the Bank, and everybody talking about, it being in Bankhead, which I didn't know Bankhead was kind of hood until the first time that I went to Atlanta. Cause the first time I went to Atlanta, I stayed at a hotel that was literally in Bankhead, and it was a little sketchy. It was a little sketchy. My God, when I tell you that shit was sketchy, I wasn't nervous or anything like that. But when I finally, I had some friends out there. They were like, you staying in the hood. I was like, well, I wish somebody would have told me this when I got out. I wish somebody would have told me this. I was in the hood. But I mean, when I got to the hotel, I was like, you definitely in the hood. You're definitely in the hood of Atlanta. Because Bankhead, again, when I go back to Bankhead again, probably not. 9 times out of 10, it won't happen again. But neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But moving on, you guys. With the event, everyone shows up now. They were supposed to come in all black, but Kenya came in green. And everybody's like, Kenya, girl, how did you miss the memo? Because Kenya didn't read that damn invitation. Kiwan says Britt took something so small and made it huge, but production needs to show more. I don't know what more they need to show because I think it's literally one. It appears that it's very one sided. It appears kind of one sided because I don't think Kenya even came in with the issue with Britt. I don't even think she was going to. I mean, do we know that something was going to happen when the girls started filming? Yes, it's a reality show. It's a group of women getting together. Yes, there was bound to be some drama, but I think Britt was doing team too much. And then when Kenya came in, she gave like did Britt not see the little church side hug that she gave Drew? And then she actually hugged you. But you talking about she gave you a pat. I was like, oh God, Britt. No, ma'am. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So then Shamia came with an olive branch for Angela. Angela accepted her apology. And then Kelly mentioned the fact that at her event, Drew came with an entourage that she didn't tell her about. And the guy, her makeup artist, he didn't buy anything. She said Drew didn't buy anything. Drew says she bought something, then showed Kelly a text message. But at the same time, she was showing Kelly the text message. Dennis was texting in a group chat that she's in. Don't give a damn. Then we see this is where I kind of got lost. Portia. Portia. Y'all know that I do like Portia, but Portia, I can't defend this. There is no way I can defend you. The way you are treating Shamia is terrible. Like, this is supposed to be your best friend. So your best friend plays her single that she's gonna release, right? And you keep sitting here saying, that's not Shamia, that's Drew. I don't know my best friend's voice. Well, obviously you don't know your best friend's voice. Because wow. And here's my thing. When it comes to my best friend, like, would I want to do a reality show with my best friend? Absolutely not. We actually discussed that. We literally talked about, my best friend and I have talked about that numerous times before. Would we do a reality show together? And we both have said we would not do it. Only type of reality show that we would say we would do, only type of show we would do is if it's like a show like, if you guys watched Bravo back in the early days when Real Housewives of Atlanta was on, there was a show called Couples Couch, right? Where there would be people who would react to some of the Bravo shows. That would be the only thing that we would do. It would be either, I don't even know if I would do a competition-based show with my best friend. I would do something where we would have fun with each other. I would want to do a show where me and my best friend are doing nothing but having fun and just showing our silly side and showing our personalities. An ensemble cast show like this, I would not do it with my best friend. But even if I was on an ensemble show and my best friend came on, I would talk to my best friend and be like, "Damn, like, you coming on the show?" I'd be like, "I'm happy that you coming on the show, but damn, girl, like, I don't, I want you to come on the show. I want you to get all the opportunities that you can get from the show, but I also don't want this show to potentially cause any issues with us, right? Because I don't want to see anything. If I don't want to, have fans try to come in between our friendship, because that's why I wouldn't want to do a reality show with my best friend, because I wouldn't want social media and fans to try to find a wedge to, be like, "Ooh, your friend, y'all supposed to be best friends, but this happened, right?" Like, I'll tell you guys one thing about my best friend. For the longest time, she couldn't remember my birthday, but it's never something that I would get upset about, right? And so I wouldn't want to go on a reality show and have a birthday, have a birthday party, and then I see on the screen where my best friend like, "Oh shit, I forgot his birthday was today," and then fans would be like, "Oh, some best friend she is. She don't even remember her best friend's birthday." Like, I wouldn't want nothing like that to happen, and I wouldn't want small things, because I'd be like, I don't care, because people will blow things out of proportion. So I'm not mad that I'm just had mad that Portia is shading her own friend, and then she's talking about, I thought it was Shami, I thought it was Drew because it sounded good. Portia, that was a backhanded ass compliment to your best friend, because you're saying that Shamia don't sound good to say that you said it was Drew because it sounded good. Southern Belle says she was definitely shading Shamia 100%. OMG, I love people on the couch. I hate it when I love that show. Like, that's something me and my best friend said we would do. But even if my best friend came on the show that I was on, I would still be supportive of my friend. Even if I didn't like the fact that my friend was on the show, I would still be supportive of her. I wouldn't do none of the crazy shit that Portia is doing to Shamia. I wouldn't shade my friend. I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't give people anything to talk about when it comes to my friend. Only thing that they would be able to see is they are true best friends. They are like brother and sister. And even when it comes to me and my best, I mean, we've had some falling outs. We've had some things in the past, but I would just never do my friend like Portia is doing Shamia. I honestly could never. I could never do my best friend that way. I can never do even just social friends. I would never even do a social friend like that. And I don't even have that many social friends, to be quite honest with you guys. If I call you my friend, we're real friends. And that's all it is. Social friends, when I say social friends, I mean like people at work that I say are friends. I don't know half the people outside of work. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. But I won't even do those people like that. But this season with Portia, I want her to shut up. I just really want her to shut up because she kept shading, like she kept talking about that's not Shamia, that's Drew. Why would Shamia be promoting Drew's song? Like, girl, what? Southern Belle says Shamia kept saying it was her singing, and Portia insisted it was Drew. I was like, and that was when she was annoying me and getting on my fucking nerves. So, like, I don't know what my best friend sound like. Well, obviously you don't, Portia. Obviously you don't know your best friend's voice. So this is where the episode got messy. So Angela has deposit slips for the ladies to write a question down for another woman. It's gonna be an anonymous question, right? So the first question was for Shamia. They asked her, what did she do to thank her husband for their Rolls Royce? I'm pretty sure she did everything under the sun you can think of. Then the next question was for Angela that Portia read. And the question was, is there anything that Angela doesn't want the group to know? And I was like, that is so interesting, especially after what we just, what just came out this past weekend about Angela. Now, you guys, if you guys go back to episode 2, when I reviewed it, I did say Angela and Charles is something there, right? Because I was looking at that youngest son, I was looking at that son of his, and they've been together for going, what, almost 10 years or so? They've been together since 2017, right? So we're almost 10 years into it. I really feel like that son is a fair baby. Allegedly. That's the rumor out there. Because a resurfaced clip from Wendy Williams came out, and Wendy said that Angela came up to her and said to Wendy when Kelvin had his side baby that is just a baby, and she said that this is coming from Wendy. Wendy said that Angela told her Charles did it too, and they are good. But Angela says it's not the case. I don't know what's true, but Angela, it is kind of interesting that you did call off the ages of all your kids, but Charlie, you didn't mention his age. Very interesting, Angela. That is all I got to say about that. I definitely want you guys to tell me what you think. And Portia says she's heard some things, but she wouldn't reveal what she's heard. I was like, you can talk about her marriage. And like Angela said, stupid bitch. You can talk about, she called Portia a stupid bitch. Now that I did laugh at, but it's interesting, Portia. You can talk about her marriage, but you ain't talking about yours. I know you can't talk about yours because Simon has you by your wig. So I know you can't talk about him. But yeah, moving on, you guys. Now, moving on. The next question was for Kenya. I think somebody asked what color her panties were. I was like, that's interesting. That was very interesting. Then there was another question for Kenya that I didn't quite hear. I think it was 3 questions for Kenya, but the one that really stood out to me was Britt reading it. And Britt says, this isn't from me. I didn't say this. I didn't say this. But it was like, can Kenya be more kind? Can Kenya speak kindly to her without an attitude? Unless we missing something, I haven't saw Kenya speak to Britt with an attitude. Unless I'm missing something, I ain't saw it. Like I ain't saw it. Southern Belle says Portia. Southern Belle says Portia annoyed me in this scene because she's upset when the ladies speak on her marriage. Like, ma'am, shut up. Yeah, I agree. But also with Portia, yeah, you know what? I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna even say what I was gonna say. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, again, like I said, I know Simon got her by that, got her tugging on that wig, but girl, shut up, Portia. So then Kenya says, I can speak to everybody kindly. And Britt she keeps going. I was like, Britt, shut up. Like, shut up. Shut up, Britt. Please shut up. Put the up to the shut. So they ended the scene, right? and Kenya was leaving, she said something to Drew, but Britt said, "Let me move around so I can be aware of my surroundings." And then Kelly said something to her about, "Oh, I got my security here." And Britt said, "Oh, I still got my pistol." And I was like, "Oh, so you did mention a gun when it comes to Kenya." So Kenya wasn't lying about that. Now, here's what I will say when it comes to Kenya, right? And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that Kenya was vindicated in this episode? Just let me know what you guys think. What I will say about Kenya, and let me preface this by also saying, I know you. I say this about everybody when it comes to anything that when it comes to reactions. You can't dictate and you can't tell a person how to respond to being disrespected by another person, right? The thing that I will say about Kenya is I do not agree with Kenya doing what she did at her salon. And let me explain why I say I don't agree with what Kenya did at her salon. Because you took the spotlight off of your salon and put it squarely on Britt. If you wanted to call Britt out, if you want to, talk about Britt like a dog, fine, do that. But don't do it at your event. Like, don't fuck up your event. Don't go to the gutter because this girl went to the fucking gutter. Say fuck, again, do something like what you did with Tanya with the cookie lady. If Kenya had done something like that, I would be okay with it. And again, like I said, I'm not telling Kenya how to respond. I just wish Kenya didn't do it at her own event. Like because literally, what happened? Like nobody really talked about Kenya's event. Everybody talked about what happened. I just wish Kenya didn't do that. If Kenya hadn't done that, I would have been cool with it, right? Now, at the same time, when it comes to Kenya and Britt production, I got an issue with y'all too. Britt literally said on camera she got her pistol, and she's having this issue with Kenya. So if y'all gonna suspend Kenya, y'all damn sure should have suspended Britt too. Y'all, like the same thing that y'all did over there on the Real Housewives of New Jersey when Danielle Cabral and Jennifer Aiden fought. Y'all should have did the same thing to Kenya and Britt. Suspend them for a period of time in production and then bring them back. Because I don't think one offense is worse than the other. Britt talked about having a pistol. Kenya called her a hoe and pulled her hoe card. So it should have been equal around the board when it comes to Kenya and Britt. What y'all did to Kenya is fucked up. And I hope to make it up to Kenya. Y'all definitely got to bring Kenya back for the reunion and for season 17 of Atlanta. Because Kenya was done wrong. And somebody who is not Team Twirl, I can honestly say Kenya was done wrong. But again, like I said, I don't agree with Kenya doing it at her own event. She shouldn't have done that. Southern Belle says, now Britt know damn well that was her question. She wants validation from Kenya. I agree. How are you doing, DeAndre Richardson? You says justified, yes. Okay. And honestly, you guys, I'm not gonna disagree with anybody who feels that Kenya was justified. I'm not gonna disagree with y'all. Britt said, "This ain't for TV. This is real life. So why try to act like she never mentioned a pal?" And I had forgot about that until people mentioned that last night that she did mention that she never said anything about this girl. You definitely lied, and because you definitely said it on camera. I think what Britt was thinking is the microphones because the thing is that scene was filmed. They were finishing that scene. So I'm thinking Britt was thinking cameras were going down and production was down, and they didn't catch her saying it. That's what I'm thinking when it comes to Britt. Vindication to me is bringing her back as a full-time housewife. I agree. Kimon says, I agree, JB. She messed up her own back. I definitely agree. Southern Belle says, I don't agree with what Kenya did in her salon. That was her moment, but I do think Britt is doing too much. Absolutely. How are you doing, Chocolate Capricorn? Hope you're having a great day. Kiwan says, Britt said it twice, but they needed someone with drama. Not only that, I believe they did budget cuts. Okay, I can see that. You say Kenya wasn't vindicated. Okay, and like I said, I'm not gonna disagree with anybody's opinions because you guys feel how you want to feel. Um, But like I said, do I feel Kenya was vindicated? Do I feel Kenya? No, let me answer the question. Do I feel that Kenya was vindicated? I actually agree. I don't think she was vindicated. Honestly, I don't think Kenya was vindicated because, like I said, we see that Britt said it right, but Kenya, again, going back to what I just said a few minutes ago, I'm not gonna sit here and dictate and tell Kenya how to respond to a woman mentioning having a fucking pistol, right? I'm not gonna tell Kenya how to respond to that. You respond how you feel is necessary. I know she went to production. I know Kenya didn't feel protected by production, and I'll agree with that. Production did not protect Kenya because y'all caught it on camera. Y'all got it on the microphone, so y'all did not protect Kenya, right? But Kenya, like I just said, and the reason this is why I say I don't think Kenya is 100% vindicated because Kenya, you did not have to do this at your own you did not have to fuck up your own event. Why did you fuck up your event to come at Brick? Because again, when this happened, what did everybody talk about? Everybody talked about what you did at your event. Nobody talked about your hair care, your salon. Now I have heard people say that your salon is beautiful, and I've saw pictures of your salon, and it is beautiful. But when this shit came out, no one could speak about your salon. Everybody was concerned and worried about what happened at your salon. Like Kenya, everybody talked about what happened at your fucking salon instead of your. And remember, last season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, you filmed for your salon. They put it into the season finale and gave you like fucked you over. So this was your opportunity to put your salon on this show and promote it. But you didn't do that, Kenya, and that's where I have an issue with Kenya when it comes to this. Um, Savon says, I don't think Kenya was vindicated. If anything, this clip shows Britt is a liar. That is exactly what I agree with. I definitely saw that. I was watching that last night and I was like, oh, girl. But here's the thing, Britt. Kenya didn't give, Kenya paid you dust. Now, yes, she called you a peasant. But, girl, to go and mention your, like, I just don't get it. I don't get why Britt went to that extreme. Chocolate Capricorn says, when you handle a threat like that, she says she was concerned for her family, so showing the pictures was silly. Here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. I can't really speak on how Kenya feels and and stuff like that. Because how I would handle things is different from her. She has her daughter and she's, like I can't really say how she should. I'm not saying that she handled. Here's the thing. I'm not saying can you handle anything wrong because she. I think she said she went to production and she talked to production and she didn't feel protected by production. And I'll give her that because if producers didn't suspend Britt and they had this on camera, then they didn't take care of Kenya, right? And I'm not, again, like I said, I'm not mad at what she did to Britt. I don't have a problem with what she did to the girl. I just wish she didn't do it didn't sully her own event to get back at this girl. I don't have a problem with that. Like, you do whatever you got to do to get a bitch off of you. And I'm not calling Kenya a bitch, and I'm not calling Britt a bitch. You do whatever the hell you got to do to get a bitch up off of you. If you gotta, you know, if you got, like, honestly, I know that they can't do this on these shows, can't file, they're not supposed to file police reports against each other, restraining orders and things of that nature. Honestly, I would have followed, I would have told Bravo, I would have gave Bravo an ultimatum. Honestly, I'm gonna file a restraining order against this hoe. Y'all, I don't want to film with her again because y'all literally heard her just threaten me. So I'm good with her. I'm good with her and I'm good on her. I would have gave out like I would have done like again, I know that these shows pay good money. And I know that these girls don't want to give up their check. But your peace of mind, your sanity, and your safety are worth more than a dollar sign, in my personal opinion. That's just me being real with you guys. You don't think Kenya was done wrong? I'll ask the question. Can you clarify? Because, like I said, the woman did mention having a pow 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 pow, and Kenya didn't feel safe, and she went to production, and production still filmed with Brit. So I would like to know, because I mean, I think they could have handled this better. Honestly, they should have suspended Brit right at this moment. Brit should have got suspended from filming at least for a week or two. Suspend this girl, do something, because I mean, I don't agree with her talking about that. Like, wow, very interesting. I'm sorry, but a lot of Kenya's fans said she didn't do anything when they had people actually there. My gripe is with them actually. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I understand that. And like I said, I don't think it's. Here's the thing: they're both wrong. Period. Point blank. Both of them are wrong. I don't think one is worse than. Well, uh, we don't. Here's the thing: we don't know what was really shown, and they're not gonna. Here's the thing: if Brit was doing, if she got something from Brit, from a like a OnlyFans or something like that, we're still not gonna see it because it's gonna be blurred out because they can't show that stuff on television. So whatever the hell Kenya had, we're never gonna see it unless next week somebody does a Google search and finds it. But I really feel like production dropped the ball when it came to this Brit thing. Like, I really think production dropped the ball with both Kenya and Brit. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You say I appreciate you being unbiased. Yeah, I don't, because when it comes to Kenya, I don't. I've grown to like Kenya, and I'm not gonna, like I said, I can't really sit here and just be Team Kenya and just be like, oh, Brit is scum. She shouldn't have done this. She shouldn't have done that. Kenya was justified in what she did to Brit. No, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna say Brit. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. I'm gonna call it like I see it, and like I see it, everybody, it's issues all the way around, from the top to the bottom. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it. Like I said, when it comes down to it, you guys feel free to say whatever you guys want to say. I'm not gonna be upset if you guys agree. If you guys agree with me, cool. If you guys disagree with me and have a different opinion from me, that is fine to you guys. I love hearing different opinions when it comes to this. But yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily think that Kenya was 100% vindicated. Like the comment said earlier, it just proves that Brit is a fucking liar. But I said that earlier in the review. I think Brit is a liar. It's like, I think Brit is a fucking liar. And that's all it is. So we got a season, we got 3 liars on this show: Portia, Drew, and Brit. 3 fucking liars. We got 3 liars, but that's it, you guys. So I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. I have to record, edit Married to Medicine and Baddies, you guys. Married to Medicine reunion part 2. I got some opinions on that. It's gonna be, so going forward, every video that I upload going forward, they will be premieres, you guys. So if you guys like, chatting with me in a live, then with the premieres, chat with me there, you guys. If I'm Most times I forget about my premieres. I try to get into them and see who's in there and interact. But yeah, Marriage to Medicine, that's gonna be a premiere. I don't know how long that video is gonna be, because like I said, I got some opinions about the ladies. Two in particular. Heavenly and Simone. More specifically, Heavenly. Actually, I got opinions about Heavenly, Simone, and Dr. Damon. Those 3 don't get read. But that's it, you guys. I appreciate everybody for coming through to the live. Be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Uh, Turn on your post notifications and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, do me a solid favor, you guys. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So like I said, next up will be Married to Medicine and Baddies. I don't know which one's gonna come first. Just depends. It might be Married to Medicine. It might be. But yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye, y'all.